Okay, to start us off, we just got back from watching the new The Thing.
The prequel.
Yes. Um, Very first comment that I can say is the director and writer definitely saw John Carpenter's The Thing. There's a lot of places where they really blur the line between paying homage and making a shot-for-shot remake. It's still technically a prequel. The characters are all appropriately different. However, there were many points in there where they just... I'm not sure if it was deliberately or if they just, got confused on where the line between homage and copying is. But for one example, in John Carpenter's The Thing, when they're determining who's infected and who's not, one of the people turns into a thing and starts rampaging, and one of the flamethrowers starts malfunctioning. It won't shoot the jet of fuel. They do that again in this movie, and it's almost shot for shot. The only difference is the operator who's using it is the female character. That's really the only difference. Overall, I'd say I enjoyed the movie. I was very nearly disappointed near the end. However, stay through the credits, it's worth it. At the very beginning, I like it. It's nice and sets everything up. It gets into it right away. And I was concerned about there being the standard love interest. They completely skipped the fact of... they completely skipped having a love interest. I like that. Usually there's always a love interest because we have to get emotionally invested, but no, they completely skip that. It doesn't matter that there's females there. No romantic interest at all. No sexual tension. They're all there. They're all being professional. Big plus from me. Another big plus, you never see any technology that makes you think that this took place after 1985. It looks like it's happening at the same time that, or rather in the weeks before, John Carpenter's The Thing takes place. So that's also a good attention to detail there. I like that. Let's see, what were some of the failings? Well, the failings were in the middle, and I'd say probably late Act 2, Act 3, and 4 were the parts where they were doing almost shot-for-shot remakes, and it kind of detracted from it for me. Go ahead, Josh.
Alright, yeah.
You've got a lot to say about it. I can tell.
This movie fucking sucks, okay? It fucking sucks. Alright,
Language.
I'm sorry, but that's the only way I can describe this movie. It sucks. Okay, I believe, they watched John Carpenter's The Thing, but they kind of fell asleep halfway through it, only waking up at they watched the first 10 minutes and fell asleep, and then they woke up in the last 15 minutes.
Well, they saw enough in the middle so that they could recreate those scenes.
Kinda. For example, when they find the alien, the whole finding of the alien spaceship and the finding of the alien specimen in the ice. Here's how it happens in John Carpenter's The Thing. When Mac and the couple scientist guys go to the Norwegian base, they recover the footage, and then later on they're watching the footage. And they show the Norwegians looking out, where they found the source of this signal, and then they blow, the chunk of ice around it up in order to get to the spaceship. And then they find the spaceship, and then, not far away from the spaceship, they find the specimen frozen in ice. This movie, no. They dig tunnels down to the spaceship, and then on the surface, they find the alien. Now, that's not how science works. The Arctic ice, it's like it's layered. The further down you go in the Arctic ice, the further back in time you're going. So, if the alien crawls out of the spaceship after it crashes, it would have to be at the same layer of ice that the spaceship is at. This is not the case in this remake. That's how it was in the original, not in the remake. The spaceship, it's all the way down here in ice that's 100,000 years old, which is still accurate. Alien, up here, at maybe like 10-year-old ice.
Actually...
No, I'm talking now, Ted. Another thing that irked me about this movie, the only way you can become infected is if you're violently attacked. Everybody that becomes infected in this movie gets violently attacked by one of the things. In the first movie, no. If a single cell from a thing gets inside you, you're infected. That's it. This movie, no. Practically the only way to become infected is to either not explain how you got infected, you're just infected all of a sudden,
Like that Hispanic chick?
or if you, get violently attacked by one of the things. And I guess they did kind of stick to it, the first movie, in that every time someone becomes a thing, they eventually become a giant monster. But there were too many giant monsters. Because really there were too many people. There was the other chick, the chick that was already at the base, and we don't see her get infected, but she becomes infected.
Oh yeah. And one of the things about John Carpenter's The Thing is
every time someone becomes a thing, you see them get infected on screen.
Now, it's not deliberately stated this is when they get infected in John Carpenter's The Thing, but you can infer it.
Yeah. Like, for example, the stoner guy from the first movie, he gets infected when the dog walks into his bedroom. And no, this is a highly debated topic about the first movie, but in my opinion, the stoner guy, he gets infected when the dog goes into his bedroom, he looks, and then he's infected. Wilford Brimley, he gets infected when he touches his pencil eraser to the dog thing, and then he touches it to his mouth. That's when Wilford Brimley got infected. Go back, watch it, it makes sense. This movie, unless they're being violently attacked, you don't know that they've been infected. People become infected off-screen, and sometimes, you don't know if they're infected or not, but they're going to show the fact that they are infected within 5 minutes of you becoming suspicious about them. Like the chick, they start building a little bit of suspense that she might possibly be infected, and then 2 minutes later, she splits in half at the torso and is trying to kill the other chick.
I will say that it was far too actiony for me.
Way too much action.
It's supposed to be a suspense horror. Kind of not even really a thriller. It's not supposed to thrill you. If they had cut out about half of the jump scares, it would have been a much better movie.
And
John Carpenter did have a couple of jump scares, but they were gotten rid of way in the beginning.
And they were well done.
They were mostly between humans just screwing with each other.
Yeah, another problem that I really had was at the ending, I guess close to the ending, the beginning of the final act.
Well, before we get to the ending, let's hear Ted.
No, well, you got to say your entire piece.
And you let him also talk, while you were speaking.
And, anyway, there's a point in the movie when everybody, one of the things just kills half the cast in 5 minutes. You're like, okay, there goes that person and that person and that person. And hey, wait, wasn't that bearded guy supposed to live in? Another person and another person and another person. Half the cast, 5 minutes dead. What the fuck? Now we're down to 2 people. Well, 3 really. And this movie, like Brian said, if you it almost screws up the ending, but you have to wait till the credits. Yeah, that's my problem. You had to wait till the credits in order for you to get the faithful ending.
Almost like it was an afterthought.
Like it was. Well, no. Here's actually what I think. This movie was supposed to come out in like late July, but then they had to go back and do reshoots. You know what I think the reshoots were? The actual ending, the one they tacked on in the credits. I think that's what they had to go back and reshoot because they went and finished the filming, the principal filming, get all the way to editing, like, oh wait, this isn't how the movie is supposed to end. There's
Afterthought.
It was a complete afterthought. A good afterthought. In my opinion, that's the only good scene in this movie. Because this base is supposed to be filled with Norwegians, and practically everybody is American. Half of the people are, well, not necessarily half. There are about 6 Americans, and then like 12 Norwegians. But only one of the Norwegians speaks Norwegian. He only speaks Norwegian, and that winds up being, you know, the guy at the very ending of the movie and the beginning of John Carpenter's movie with the gun. Another problem I had, and this was a big problem, big plot hole, the dog. At the very beginning, like after the first attack, the breakout attack of the thing, the dog disappears. And we don't see the dog again at all until after the credits start rolling, and then they put in the actual ending. That dog, not mentioned once. The dog thing has apparently been going around this entire time unnoticed. And this base is small. This is a 1-building base. One plus I will say is the interior looks exactly like the interior from the John Carpenter movie. And that's good because John Carpenter actually used the same interior for both the American and Norwegian base, which I will say that's a plus. And I will say the afterthought ending was a plus. But anyway, I'm starting to get too ranty. Ted, what are your thoughts?
I hated this movie. Hated it. Possibly more than Josh did.
I doubt it.
I hated even the afterthought ending because it felt like a freaking afterthought. It felt tacked on, and heck, the way they even handled it, even if it wasn't an afterthought, it just felt weak.
Explain how they do it, Ted. Explain what happens. Because I was
The helicopter
ambiguous.
lands there, the dog bursts out of a wall, Kool-Aid Man style, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And like Lars, I think his name is.
Yeah, Lars.
He's like yelling all the crazy talk at the
only
helicopter
fucking
pilot.
badass.
Yeah, I mean he's basically yelling how it's not a dog, stuff like that. And okay, the first thing that came to my mind was,